The bridge of the Corvette Talon was painted in emergency crimson, every console framed by pulsing rings of warning light. Outside the armored viewport, the star named Carver D, a once mighty blue giant crushed by its own mass, flickered like a dying strobe. A neutron star, only 20 kilometers wide, spun there more than 300 times a second, its magnetic tendrils sweeping space with radiation scythes. Nobody sane took a ship within 1 million kilometers of it. Nobody except the crew of a single, outgunned Terran Navy corvette with a rookie at the helm and an enemy fleet between them and home. Ensign Aaron Vale, 19 standard years old and still wearing the crease lines of Academy parade uniforms, gripped the acceleration bars of the helm cradle. Sweat darkened his collar and floated away in spheres that the grav plates were too starved of power to catch. The edges of his vision tingled. He'd forgotten to blink since they dropped out of fold space 5 minutes earlier. Captain Soraya Kadim stood at his shoulder, gaze locked on the holographic tactical tank where 26 crimson icons, Zenith Dominion frigates, destroyers, and a pocket carrier, formed a picket wall between Talon and the contested mining colony of Kestrel Haven. "They're massing for orbital insertion," Kadim said, voice crisp despite the lurid alarms. "If they fortify Haven before our task group arrives, the colony's done." Commander Egwu, first officer, gave a flat laugh. "Correction, Captain. If we charge that picket, we're done first." Every head turned to the ship's newest addition, a ring of silver petals folded flush against the dorsal hull, invisible from within except on engineering schematics. Experimental grav sails, untested outside simulations, delivered to Talon because no larger vessel had volunteered to risk them. The sails could, in theory, hook onto steep gravity gradients and convert them into lateral thrust. In practice, nobody knew, which was how a corvette with half a graduate crew found itself staring at a neutron star's lethal maw. "It'll work," Dr. Linchow said from engineering. Her voice crackled through the open comm channel, pitched halfway between ardent and terrified. "The sails have independent superconductive vanes. They'll shear force into directed momentum as long as Helm can maintain vector control." Helm meant Aaron Vale. He swallowed and forced his hands to stop trembling. A week ago, he'd executed textbook approach maneuvers around a tranquil Class K star. Today, the captain wanted him to shave the upper atmosphere of a dead star whose tidal forces could twist steel like taffy. All because a miracle slingshot, if it held, would spit Talon out directly behind the Dominion formation, inside plasma gun range where larger ships couldn't pivot in time. Captain Kadim tapped the intercom. "All decks rigged for grav shear. Radiation shutters sealed. I want skeleton crew in radiation shelters within 1 minute." She glanced at Aaron. "Ensign, plot us a threading solution." "Aye, Captain." His voice cracked. He cleared his throat, then pulled up the navigational holospread. The neutron star's gravity map blossomed as neon topography, red peaks of murderous gradient, blue valleys of comparative calm. At orbital altitude, the peaks interwove like barbed wire. A safe corridor did not exist. The only path was to dive. Commander Egwu said quietly, "You sure you can do this, kid?" Aaron's fingers paused over the haptic field. His academy instructors taught that doubt saved lives, but hesitation killed. He remembered their final sim exam. Aggressive improvisation earned higher scores than conservative caution. Then he remembered Arya, his older sister, killed 2 years back when a Dominion cruiser glassed the research outpost she served. The same cruisers now hung between Talon and the colony. The memory burned hotter than fear. "I'm sure," he answered, surprising himself. He laid in the solution, a spear point vector toward the neutron star's equator, a hair above the pulsar beam. "Engage grav sails at periastron, allow tidal forces to whip them into a hairpin reversal, then cut loose and ride momentum away at 30,000 meters per second. Time inside the star's atmosphere, 9 seconds. Margin for error, non-existent." "Solution online, whenever he reported. Captain Kadim studied the path. Her dark eyes flicked to him once, unblinking before she keyed the all-ship. "This is the captain. Our next maneuver is unorthodox. You may feel like your stomach's being yanked through your boots. Trust your shipmates. Trust this vessel. Captain out." She gave Aaron a single curt nod. Take us in. The fusion drives roared and Talon leapt toward Carver D. Radiation levels spiked the moment they crossed the star's magnetopause. Auroras of ghostly violet danced across the hull, captured by external cameras and piped onto bridge displays. Somewhere aft, grab sails unfurled. 100 square meters of graphene-laced mesh braced by smart spars. Aaron sensed, rather than saw, the ship's mass shadow shift as the sails caught the planet-sized well of gravity ahead. Numbers streamed across the helm. Relative velocity, 0.2 C and rising. Hull skin temperature, 1600 K, climbing faster than coolant pumps could compensate. Structural stress indicators flickered from green to amber to angry orange, each hue ringing a deeper note in Aaron's gut. Remember your cadence, Dr. Chow coached through the comm, voice steady. 3-count vector adjust, 4-count damp, repeat. The sails will harmonize with the gradient. Aaron breathed in on 1, exhaled on 2, nudged the attitude thrusters on 3. Talon shuddered. Outside the neutron star's upper atmosphere, if something that thin and exotic still counted, slid past in streaks of poisonous emerald gas, protons accelerated to near light speed. The bow deflector screens whined, a mosquito shrill even through decking. 5 seconds. The gravity well pulled at bone and blood, making Aaron's limbs heavy. The auxiliary inertial dampers flared dangerously close to redline. 7 seconds. Warning klaxons screamed, tidal shear critical, hull compression imminent. 8. Hold her together, Captain Kadim said. More prayer than order. 9. Aaron toggled sail release. To human senses, nothing changed. No jolt, no burn of deceleration. But the navigation board told its own miracle. Their vector snapped 147 degrees in under half a second. Grav's sails, now shredded confetti somewhere in Carver D's flux, had dumped neat, impossible lateral thrust into Talon's frame. The Corvette now tore away from the neutron star on a course convergent with the Dominion fleet's rear quarter. Commander Egwu whistled. Well, I'll be damned. Bridge to engineering, the captain said. Report. Dr. Chow's answering laugh was half sob. Structural integrity at 64%, but stable. Radiation surge within predicted envelope. We're flying, Captain. Aaron gave a shaky grin. His muscles refused to unclench, but he was alive, and so was the ship. Adrenaline turned the world crystal sharp. The pressure that had bent his spine vanished, leaving a phantom ache that felt like victory. Time to target? Kadim asked. Weapons Officer Lieutenant Parsa, thin as a fencing foil and twice as sharp, manipulated the tac tank. We translate behind them in 48 seconds. They won't know we exist until we open their back doors. The hologram showed Dominion ships arrayed like spearheads facing the colony. Talon's blue icon materialized at the tail of the formation, inside their sensor shadow, the angle where engine glare and interference from Carver D's magnetosphere blinded them. The Corvette was a remora among sharks. The captain clasped her hands behind her back. Make every shot count. We'll never get another angle like this. Parsa's voice flattened into lethal calm. Plasma batteries charge. Torpedo tubes 1 through 4, loaded spread pattern. Assigning subtargets now. Aaron eased power from the fusion drives and pivoted to broadside orientation, just as the simulation demanded. Talon's ventral guns, usually kept folded for better aerodynamics, extended like long claws. Their sneak approach shrank to 12 seconds. On the main display, a Dominion frigate's stern filled the frame. Gray armor plates marked with violet runic sigils, drive nozzles glowing cerulean. Firing solution locked, Parsa declared. Awaiting command. Captain Kadim let silence reign a heartbeat longer than comfort, her gaze sweeping her crew. When she spoke, it was scarcely above whisper. For Haven, fire. Hell bloomed. Twin plasma lances punched from Talon's battery, superheated ions turning void to coruscating ribbons. The nearest frigate's engine block vaporized, venting a storm of liquid metal and dying plasma. Simultaneously, 4 torpedoes streaked away, their microfold drives collapsing space meters at a time until they buried themselves in the belly of the Dominion pocket carrier. The detonation peeled the carrier's armored flanks like fruit rind, scattering decks and fighters into white-hot shrapnel. The remaining Dominion ships jolted in confused panic, formation fracturing. Their forward-facing sensors were useless, and by the time aft arrays resolved Talon's profile at 2,000 meters, the corvette had already shifted laterally, presenting fresh angles of attack. Parsa kept firing, voice a staccato mantra of confirmations. Frigate Bravo crippled. Target Delta launching drones. Correction, drones slagged. Destroyer Echo arming main battery. Request torpedo retarget. Torpedoes away. Aaron transformed the corvette into a dueling dancer, bobbing between engine plumes and weapons arcs. He levered the helm as if born to it, each thruster burst weaving them through carnage. The Dominion crews used to set-piece engagements at tens of thousands of clicks, struggled to track a knife fight measured in hundreds of meters. They scored glancing hits. A scatter laser gouged Talon's starboard plates. A point defense turret sprayed molten flecks that scarred dorsal armor. The corvette's shields, still recharging after the neutron star run, flared faint but sufficient. Lieutenant Parsa crowed, "Destroyer Echo venting atmosphere. Captain, they're in disarray." On the TAC tank, red icons blinked out, replaced by debris markings. The surviving 6 Dominion ships, once emboldened invaders, forked engines and wheeled about, each trying to present their heaviest armor toward the unexpected menace in their midst. But turning radius hunted them. By the time they reversed course, Captain Kadim had ordered a full burn toward Kestrel Haven, using the enemy's confusion as cover. "Helm! Evasive departure pattern," she commanded. Aaron relit the drives. Talon surged, engines spitting sapphire fury. One Dominion cruiser managed a parting salvo, a lance of grav-shear energy bright enough to blind sensors. Aaron snap-rolled, skimming the bolt so close its wake rattled the hull like hail, then dropped the corvette into a spiral dive that dragged yawing gun sights past them uncontrollably. Within minutes, they breached the outer edge of Haven's orbital plane. Planetary defense monitors pinged them, friend or foe protocols chirping. Talon pinged back, victorious. Captain Kadim exhaled once, a breath that seemed to carry the weight of neutron star and battle alike. "Stand down from red alert. Damage reports by section chiefs in 10. She turned to Aaron Vale. The bridge quieted. Consoles dimmed from scarlet to soft gold. The rookie helmsman met his captain's eyes, expecting a lecture about risk, a reprimand for daring maneuvers unbecoming of a green officer. Instead, she smiled, small but unmistakable. "Ensign Vale, remind me to send a thank you note to the Academy for graduating you early." Laughter bubbled across the bridge, half relief, half raw triumph. Aaron leaned back in his cradle, palms still tingling from the helm's controls. He tried to respond, but words jammed behind the swell in his throat. He settled for a nod. Yet the engagement was not finished. Dominion ships, even damaged, did not surrender prey. Sensors flagged fresh signatures. The remnants had regrouped, claws out, engines hot. They would pursue. Captain Kadim tapped her comm. "Engineering, radar drives." Dr. Chow answered, "Cooling down. But at 1/3 output, we've got 14 minutes before the whole assembly needs a flush." "Good enough," the captain said. Then to the bridge. "We can't outrun cruisers for long. We hold them until Commodore Wren's task group pops from fold space." Commander Egwu frowned. "And if the task group's delayed?" Kadim's gaze drifted to the viewport, where the shattered hulks drifted against Carver D's eclipsed glow. "Then we make our stand." Aaron felt air cool on his damp skin as environmental systems recovered. Rotation thrums through hull changed timbre. The corvette aligned to present its strongest armor toward the inbound Dominion elements. After their earlier humiliation, those captains would press hard. But planetary control hailed first. "Talon, this is Kestrel Haven Command. Your actions have bought us time to spin up surface cannons. We can provide orbital fire in 5 minutes, Mark." Parsa grinned. "Captain, with Haven's cannons in our position, we can crossfire. Pin them between hammer and anvil." "Helm?" Kadim asked. "You up for more acrobatics?" Irene's weariness vanished beneath flaring resolve. "With or without sails, ma'am?" A chuckle rippled through the deck. The captain answered, "Let's assume without. Hold them in our box, give the colony gunners clean shots." A fresh diagram grew in the TAC tank. Talon's blue icon forming one vertex of a triangle, Haven's emerging cannons another, Dominion survivors at the apex. Not as daring as skipping a neutron star, but still lethal if played right. Aaron threaded Talon into interception course, letting the corvette's smaller silhouette hide against the colony's radiation belts, then slicing upward in a powered parabola that put them nose to nose with the oncoming cruiser. Plasma bolts and rail slugs crisscrossed. Talon took 2, maybe 3 more glancing strikes, shield bubbles dimpling. Then Haven's ground arrays fired. From the planet's night side, pillars of cohered neutrino beams lanced space. They punched through Dominion hulls like skewers through paper. One cruiser disintegrated in incandescent gas. A frigate broke spine first, curling like burning bark. The final destroyer tried to dive planetward, but Talon hounded it, plasma batteries chewing through its stern until it broke orbit and flared across Haven's stratosphere in a meteor trail. Silence then. No further hostiles on scan, Parsa confirmed. On the bridge, grins mingled with stunned disbelief. Aaron watched the tactical board show only blue and green. The Dominion fleet was gone. Kestrel Haven was safe, at least until broader war cycles turned again. He realized then the magnitude of what they had done. A single corvette, leveraging physics that belonged in speculative journals, had ruptured a whole assault line. They had exploited a neutron star like pirates used ocean currents, and none of it would have been possible without grav sails and without a rookie willing to engage an impossible vector. Dr. Chow's face popped onto a side holoscreen, hair frizzed, cheeks flushed. Helm, I owe you a crate of whatever drink you favor, and an apology to the sales. I said they were independent. Turns out they were disposable. Aaron laughed, the sound shaky but free. Worth the sacrifice, Doctor. Besides, think what we've proven. Indeed, the captain agreed, rejoining. Command will want your flight recorder, Ensign. Every millisecond. Aaron nodded. The thought of Admiralty debriefs, engineering inquiries, and safety tribunals might have daunted him yesterday. Tonight it merely seemed like epilogue. His hands finally unclenched. He flexed them, studying the tremor that remained, slight as starlight. As damaged crews reported minimal casualties, the bridge lighting cooled to peacetime blue. Captain Kadim granted general stand-down. Medical released personnel from shelters. In the sudden lull, Talon felt smaller, more fragile, yet somehow immense, because the line between fragile and formidable had shifted. Egu clapped Aaron's shoulder. Not bad for a shakedown cruise, kid. Thank you, sir. Remember this feeling. Next time could go sideways. Confidence and arrogance are a step apart. I'll remember, Aaron promised. He stared out at Carver D, the neutron star carving razor circles in space. The star was already receding as they drifted toward the colony, but he would never forget the moment when its gravity had held him in a clenched fist, then hurled him outward like a sling. Already excitement nibbled at the edges of exhaustion. What other impossible routes lay unwritten in the gravity wells of the cosmos? Captain Kadim caught his gaze, as if sensing the question. There'll be more fights, she said, and more chances to test your mettle. Next battle, the enemy will study this trick. They'll be ready. Then we'll find another path, Aaron replied. She smiled again, wider than before. That's the spirit. Talon eased into a low staging orbit above Kestrel Haven. The planet rolled beneath them, light spark pinning its dark hemisphere. Settlements, shield domes, landing beacons. Supplies and medics would descend shortly. Colonial frequencies flooded comms with cheers as news of the Dominion route spread. Hour by hour, adrenaline ebbed, replaced by bone-deep fatigue. Aaron was relieved by the night watch helmsman and floated down corridors where plating still radiated heat from near meltdown. In his cabin, he checked messages. A backlog of tactical pings, unread system alerts, and a single personal note forwarded from Earth. It was from his mother, sent before Talon launched. Be careful, Ari. Your sister always chased storms. Bring yourself home. He stared at the words until they blurred, breathed steady, then penned a reply he could now send with pride. Storm-ridden, still sailing. He closed his slate, secured it, and let himself finally drift into sleep, heart echoing with fusion thrum and the memory of a neutron star's heartbeat. A dangerous rhythm he had learned to dance with and would not soon forget. Behind his closing eyelids flashed the simple, unbelievable truth. On this day, A rookie helmsman in an untested ship had rewritten the map of war. And tomorrow, in the vast ledger of space, new impossible margins waited to be explored.